Alright, welcome back to Baldeykino here in Farming Simulator 22. I finished the fertilizing contracts and on our way to the store to refill the fertilizer that we used. So as you can see, the fertilizer contracts paid very well. This was a great vehicle to use as I try to pull this. Oh, that's quite the hill to pull this up. So this equipment here we borrowed from the collective farm, and if you were here last episode, then you saw, yeah, I paid them $5,000 to use this for the day. It's a great fertilizing truck, and I used their fertilizer. Well, at the store, I had some fertilizer shipped in on the train for us, and we're going to refill this with fertilizer I just paid. So, the money you see up there, that's the money we have. That's the money we have. And I've already paid to rent the truck, and I've already paid for the new replacement fertilizer. We used right about 7,000 liters of fertilizer, as I was able to purchase it in 1,500 liter increments. I purchased 5 pallets totaling 7,500 liters fertilizer, and so I paid about 6,000. Plus 5,000 for the truck, so it's 11,000 and costs on our end. But as you can see, yeah, we have $92,000 more than we had 3 or so episodes ago. So there's that. Made it quite a bit of money, but it was a lot of work and took some figuring to get those contracts done. Oh, wow, train's coming this time. Now, the only thing really left to figure out is how I'm going to turn this trailer around in the store parking lot, because I have already thought of that, because that's where we're going to pick up the fertilizer. I want to bring this back with a full tank, of course. So I just got to figure out how to maneuver this in the parking lot, get it loaded, and we'll get this back to the collective farm, and we can get back to plowing our field on our property, which I was doing at the beginning of last episode, I believe. Plowing a new field on our property, which is to be a cornfield, and I'm not sure we'll have time to get it planted before May. It's no big deal. We can plant the cornfield in May. Nothing says we have to plant it in April. We can plant it next month. Maybe waiting until next month to plant it is not the worst idea, because it will give us some more time to see if any new equipment comes up on offer or anything like that. Alright, so here's some pallets of fertilizer waiting for us. And yeah, what we're going to do is I'm going to loop the trailer around through here, and I'm going to stack those up so that I can refill them into this and get them refilled. Should be room to go out between our harvester pieces there, and room to get the forklift out. Yep. Alright, so this is full. This right here. So yeah, I put everything into this tank so I could see what we have to fill, and it all goes into here. So I'm going to grab the forklift and get these pallets of liquid fertilizer stacked over here, and we can get this filled up. Alright, so I'll just come through and just grab these, and we'll just stack them over here by the trailer. I had a feeling that looping this trailer through here was going to be a bit of an ask. There we go. Just get the rest here. Let's push these two over here. Didn't want to slide the other one on the forks. I could have just had the forks wrong, but regardless, there we go. Alright, it's going to grab 2 more. The last 2, that is. Get those over there, and then we should be able to just, yeah, I don't see why not, loop that trailer around through here. And yeah, I still got to grab that potato harvester from previously. At some point, we'll get that. And oops, kind of got this crate crooked, but that'll work. I'll grab the other one and get that over there. Alright, I think I've got them. If we drive this very carefully, I think we can get this over there. Very carefully. That trailer is nice that it has such a large capacity, but it's a serious pain in that it's so difficult to maneuver because you can't back it up. I mean, yeah, again, you could block the axle in the front, probably. Could probably block that straight, but good luck backing something this long, you know, with 16 wheels that don't turn. How would you steer it backwards? And not only that, even if it would, I would have to pull it all the way straight till it's perfectly straight in order to block it. And so I'd have to back it up at least like 3 times its own length. No, thank you. So it's kind of something you got to pull through like this. So let's go ahead and get this started filling off these pallets here. Slowly, 1 barrel of fertilizer at a time. Alright, there we go. That's full up. $6,000 worth of fertilizer. I kind of think the liquid is cheaper than the solid. I thought it'd be the other way around, but yeah, I paid an even $6,000 for that. That's not bad. Or maybe it's just cheaper here. Either way, that leaves us with good money. And I think, yeah, we'll get home and we'll finish getting that field set up. And then, yeah, there's no reason to rush the planting. We can plant it next month. And next month, May, our pigs will be breeding age. They'll be adult pigs. So maybe we'll start, having more pigs. Now let's see if we can get this through here. And then, oh yes, this has got to go back to the collective farm. We'll grab... Yeah, I'll take this back there, and then we can take our truck home from there. Wait, that's, oh, you know what? That's not full. Yeah, I just noticed that. Well, okay, see, the thing is, here's the mistake that I made. It's an honest mistake. Yeah, and it seemed like we used more fertilizer in that. Okay, it's because... I looked at this, and the total of that trailer is 40,000, but I forgot when they're hooked, it's showing the front one too. So, yeah, we still need... I should have looked at this. We need another 5,000 liters of fertilizer. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. 5,000 liters of fertilizer. We can buy that... There's 4,500 liters of fertilizer. All right, so $3,600 for the rest of the fertilizer we need. Now, I just got to turn around and get this. So I'm going to... Wow, how do I get this thing turned around? I wasn't set up for such a turn. Let's see if I get... Do I have room to loop this around? Yeah, I think so. If I do this very carefully. So I'm going to get this turned around. I'm going to get that fertilizer loaded. And so, what was that? Was that $3,600? What that was? I think that's what I just said. I think plus 6,000. So still less than $10,000 in fertilizer. Less than 10 grand in fertilizer. That seems more like it for what? About 80,000 some in contracts, something like that. So I'm going to get this. Park this right here, and I can just push those forward and load them in. And then I'll meet you guys back at the farm or at our truck down at the tractor park. Regardless, you know, so say 10 grand in fertilizer for 80,000 in contracts. It pays off in the end, and let's just take, we can get bigger equipment, do bigger jobs, and such incidental prices will mean less and less, you know, as we go. All right, but I guess that's why fertilizing contracts pay so much. But hey, you know, it's not as much work as some things, like, for instance, say harvesting potatoes. That's a lot of work. Or, you know, mowing an entire field and turning it into hay and baling the hay and everything. That's it's a complicated, long contract with lots of steps in it. Fertilizer contracts, those pay a lot not because of the amount of work or the amount of steps, but because of the investment you have to put into the fertilizer. You know, so I guess it does even out. All right, now let's get this back to the tractor park. I don't think anyone's going to fret over, like, not even 100 liters of fertilizer. I mean, I paid them more than fair for truck rental. Let's get this back there. Well, that was a very long day's work. I mean, come to think of it, that's pretty much all I've done today, I guess. Well, I made that field. I started making that field today, but... yeah, pretty long day's work there. We'll drop this off here. And we'll put the sprayer back where we got it. And then, yeah, so I'm going to get back to our farm. And get back plowing what will be our cornfield. And we got prep work to do there. Although, I guess since, you know, timeline for planting is now on next month. But it's okay, you know, again, you know, we can plant a cornfield in May, absolutely. Don't have to plant it all in the first month. And I'd like to head down to the shop at some point, get our potato harvester still down there. Should get that, even though we won't need it, you know, still get it back to our farm so it's with our other equipment, get it out of the shop parking lot. Well, it's good to be back on our farm, our simple little farm here. And so yeah, just drove past our original cornfield. The new one is not that big. Kind of felt like it plowing it, but nah, it's not that big. Let's get our truck parked up here. Here's our little equipment. After driving that big truck, our trucks sure look tiny. I can pick back up where we left off with this. Let's see. Oh, here's the tractor. Got a few things to put away and such, but let's see where we left off with this field. I don't think there's a whole lot left to plow. Whoops, we should probably back up down this way. Yeah, not a whole lot left to plow. But I'd like to get some work done here on this. I mean, we still got lime to spread and fertilizing before we plant. Yeah. Now, when I was creating the outside of this field, it kind of just, you know, it's curved. It kind of runs along the outside of our property so that you don't have to turn around anywhere. You can just do the field, you know, in loops like this. But as we get to the inside of the field, I sense it's going to become too tight. We're probably going to have to do some back and forth rows on the inside. But its outside perimeter is such, and I mentioned this last episode, it's such that we can use more of our property without having to leave space to turn around, which works. But yeah, here I think we're going to have to start whipping rows back and forth at some point. And of course, also next month, we need to finish fertilizing field 4. We did one stage of fertilization this month. Next month, I've got that to tackle. And that's on that. We're left to our own devices. We can't use the big truck for that because the crops will be sprouting, and we don't want to run truck tires over it. So, yeah, we're going to be left to our own devices for that. I want to make sure we have some kind of setup with narrow wheels. We're going to want to check the wheels I have on this and see if they indeed count as narrow. Yeah, I'll check on that. Yeah, this up here is too tight to pull this plow in, so we're going to have to start going back and forth, go up and down on this. Yeah, I can't make that turn and expect to, well, I don't think this tractor will turn with this plow attached as it is, so just have to turn around here. It was kind of, whoops, plow took a second to lower there. It was going pretty quick at first when you could just do it all in concentric loops. But now I'm going to have to stop and turn around each time. But this will give us another field for corn. And, well, once it's all grown up, as it starts growing, it'll help our farmyard look a lot more, well, developed, because it is. A few more up and down the field here. It's, well, it'll be nice to, it'll look really cool. It'll look really nice, and it'll be so awesome to have this much more corn to harvest. And now that we have money, we can, it's good to have money again, and I should start being on the lookout for a harvester, definitely. A couple months from now, yeah, we're going to want a harvester. And We already have one attachment that I found on sale. It's for the most affordable harvester that we're likely to find around here. So hopefully, well, yeah, hopefully that's the one that it'd be nice to see one of those go on sale. If not, I'll have to buy one. But we can certainly afford that now, especially if we can pick up some more jobs like we've been doing. It looks like after this, we might be able to get the rest of that with one pass. And I think there's well, I was going to say, we've already got the fertilizer spreader. Well, I put it away, but it's right over there. In fact, its door is still open. We could pull the fertilizer spreader out and fertilize this real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, there's no reason not to. Alright, so there's our new field. You know, actually, it might be around the same size as our other cornfield there. It might be. It's hard to tell. It actually looks bigger. It didn't look so big when it was just the outline, but now that's a big blob. Yeah, we'll see. Of course, yeah, it's just plowed. I would like to get it cultivated. Alright, that's true. I mean, sometimes I take steps that you don't necessarily have to take. I mean, we've got it plowed. I'd like to come over and get the surface of the soil a little better for planting. You know, some things I do you don't necessarily have to do. You know, technically we could plant over this. I want to cultivate it. Yeah. And the way I like to do it is I'd like to get down some fertilizer and lime first. That way when we cultivate it, we kind of get that worked into the ground, I guess. I mean, that's how it works in my head anyway. And that's how I like to do it on my farm. So let's go ahead and see if I get some fertilizer down. But yeah, before we plant, I'm going to want to cultivate it. Oh yeah, the plow was behind the big tractor. Let's see here. Well, let's go ahead and I'll get it out to spread the, yeah, and then I can sneak this in behind it. I say this every time, but now I don't think we need that plow unless we decide to, I mean, there's still space on our property for more fields, but the chance is a lot smaller we're going to be needing the plow anytime soon because most of our property is now fields. So let's see if I can get this fertilizer spreader hooked up. Well, I'm sure it can, but this tractor barely fits its wheels through this doorway, and so hopefully I got it lined up so that I can just, yep, back in and get it. And I think this should be more than enough fertilizer. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. Yeah, this should be a pretty field once the corn's grown up. It'll look kind of cool, all nestled in here, the corn just kind of hooking around the edge of the property. Yeah, it's an unnecessary step, as technically we could plant on this, but yeah, you know, like I said earlier, a lot of times I take steps in the fields that you don't necessarily have to do, but you know, if it makes sense and it's logical, I would think you would want a better soil surface, you know, to plant on. And you know, the thought just occurred to me: do our pigs? Yeah, well, we've only got 10. That's right. I was looking at their slurry production. Yeah, but we've only got 10 pigs. May come the day when we have enough pigs. That would be cool. Have enough pigs that, well, yeah, you know, could use that for fertilizer. We'll see how the whole like pig part of this farm goes. Because as you know, as of right now, as of April, they're not even breeding age yet. May buy some more pigs. We certainly have the money to now. We may buy some more pigs and. Well, that's it for the fertilizer here. Well, that's it for the first stage of fertilizer here. Now let's go up here and, you know, it might be able to swap this out pretty quick to lime, actually. If I can get this so that it'll drop off the fertilizer. So it'll be approximately 2 pallets of fertilizer. If we can drop it off right here. Let's see. Oh, it dropped it off on the left side. Didn't it last time unload on the right side? I was trying to... Well, that's okay. We've got forks. We can move that stuff around. Now we can just pull up here and pick up our lime. And hopefully have enough. I'm not sure exactly how much lime we've got. Actually, we had a pretty decent amount of lime, as it turns out. Yeah, almost a full tipper, so... Well, full, yeah, spreader. Well, you know what I mean. Let's see here. And this is not going to spread as wide as the fertilizer, I don't think. Doesn't seem like it is, does it? One thing I've done is, if you recall, the game has been set on 2-day months. Well, as these last couple of months, we've been taking on more work, and now we have more and bigger fields. I have increased it to 3, so I don't know. It shouldn't be until June, but regardless, at some point, probably June, you will notice that, well, yeah, we'll have 3-day months, and I think that's appropriate. I try to keep an eye on that, you know, scaled to, you know, the amount of work we have to do. We're taking on bigger jobs, especially when I look at April, the big fields and the things I worked on through April, and just what I've tried to squeeze in today, and see if we had another day of April, I could get this planted. But I'm gonna wait. Yeah, I'm gonna wait until May because I like to cultivate it as well first. First. Now the problem with fields like this that are shaped like this, it's great for getting equipment in here and keeping constant forward motion, so you don't have to go back and forth. But when you're spreading lime and stuff like this, I find it harder to get consistent fill area. You know, it's harder. I find myself overlapping it more, lest I miss quite a bit on the turns. So, yeah, I have to overlap it a lot more. Whereas this would be better just going back and forth. You get better spread. I mean, if you see what I'm getting at. For some reason, taking these around turns, I always seem to have to, like here I'm going clockwise, and it seems to me like I got to keep closer to the left edge. Or it could just be all in my head, but it seems like I need to stay closer to the left, or else I'll miss a bunch. If I was going straight up and down, I could space this better, I think. But I've said this before in a previous episode, you don't have to get every little bit, because if I had precision farming on, if I had that mod, it wouldn't even let you get the small spaces. It would literally stop spreading lime, and it would not even apply it. So that tells me that the small spaces don't matter. That's my way of thinking. I'm not sure there's a way to look that up. I think I've tried. I couldn't figure out how. I've just done enough farming that, like this bit right here, precision farming literally would not allow your lime spreader to even put lime there. So because of that, I'm going to have to say that doesn't matter, but I hit it there since I was driving over it anyway. But yeah, and that's my way of thinking on that, to my knowledge. Just a note on that. It's a mod that a lot of people use. I know you don't see me using it. I have reasons I don't use it, but I have used it a lot, farmed around a lot, and people, often I get questions about how to do one thing or another, and there's that. Anyway, looks like we had just enough lime, and I may as well just put down the rest of it. There's another spot there. That way I don't have to unload just a couple liters into a mostly empty pallet, There's a little bit up here we can get. May as well just use the rest of it, right, at this point. I mean, what's 167 liters of lime worth anyway, Basically nothing. So we'll just run this dry and then put the fertilizer back in it. There we go. Saved ourselves a bunch of work. And let's load it up with fertilizer here. We can put it away. Alright, that's loaded up because, that's what we're going to use next out of it anyway. Fertilizer's the next thing we're going to use out of it, obviously, for the next fertilizer stage on that field. And that said, yeah, there's no point in putting this back into that space in the garage because we're just going to be pulling it out again anyway. Let's back it over here. It should be easier to get in this space over here. Well, let's get everything. We'll just get this tractor here put away. And I guess it's time to move into May. I just washed that tractor off too. Yeah, nothing gets a tractor dirty like spreading lime. Alright, yes, it's May 1st, and, well, it says we can expect some rain today. I'd like to get an idea when that's going to be. Well, it's going to rain pretty soon, but it's just going to be a short shower. But that's enough to throw off our field work, darn it. It is. Well, we'll get out there and get some field work started because, no, there's no way we're doing field work during the rain, and then after the rain, the field's going to be all muddy, so I'd like to get as much done as we can now. However, anything interesting on sale here that we could use? Nice potato planter, but we got that covered. This is the piece. We already have this. Couldn't it offer us something else on sale? Wow. The same part goes on sale twice. Well, I was hoping it'd be a different harvester part, but yeah, this is the exact piece we have waiting for us down at the store. All right, let's get out to the field and get as much done. I wasn't exactly necessarily going to do this right now, but as it's going to be raining in less than an hour, let's get this cultivator out there. And then there's other things I want to check, but I want to get the cultivator out there so that while it's raining, I can do some other stuff. Can't do field work while it's raining. I can use that time to check on some other stuff I want to see, but for right now, let's get the cultivator out here and get us a good surface for planting our corn. I don't think you guys have seen me use this yet. I think I've only used this in between episodes, but this is our, it's about twice as wide as our plow, so it should go a lot quicker than the plow job did of this. And here the shape of our field will come in very handy. So I'll see how much work we can get done before 9 o'clock. The rain's supposed to come between 9 and 10, so. Looks like we're going to have to take this tractor in for service fairly soon. Well, if you look down there, we put, believe it or not, wow, we put 6.3 hours on this tractor. Didn't think I had, clocked 6 1/3 hours behind the wheel of this tractor, but I guess I used it more than I thought. And it looks like could use some service before, well, it's got a lot of use coming up this year. We should find a place when I could take it in and do so. I'd like to check on our other fields, and of course, field 4, the field down south of our farm, my uncle's field that the sorghum field that we fertilized. Yes, and start having a look at how I want to fertilize that this month. Because I've already agreed to that, and that'll pay us another $23,000. But it's up to me to figure out how to. Yeah, again, I'll have to find something with narrow wheels to fertilize with. So either source some equipment, rent something. This looks much better to plant on. Much better looking. This year we're going to be getting a lot more cool stuff for the farm, I think. Oh yes, and while I'm thinking of money, any interesting jobs to do this month? Not so far, anyway. I'm not really hot to do those hay baling contracts. You know, it's like, hey, 22 grand, but you know what's entailed in that, you know. You got to go over it all, and you got to mow it, and you got to run over all that and ted it, and then go over that and windrow it, and then go and bale it. That could easily be like a half-a-day job there. And it's not even the amount of work. I'm all for working for the money. Hay baling is just reworking the same part of, the same field like 3 times over. If it was our property, that'd be different. It's still, it's not bad. I was just thinking, a lot of times I know the feeling. The feeling is, when you see it, you see that, and you're like, oh, 22 grand, that's some good money. And so you start the contract, and then you head down to the store to get the equipment, and the equipment for the hay contract is just lined up across the front of the dealership because you got the tractor, the mower, the tedder, the windrower, the baler. You see all those equipment just standing there in a line, and that's when the realization hits. It's like, oh crap, this is going to be a lot of work. That's how hay contracts always go. But hey, I actually knowingly took on a sugar beet contract. Yeah, down there on Field 4 back in near the start of the series. I did that knowing full well what I was in for, but it was for my uncle, so... But yeah, that was... well, that was what it was, and I'm sure we'll have to do something like that again. If a family needs help with one of their fields, I'm always down. Well, that's really pretty down in there. What is all that down there? Well, let's see. That's out east of our farm. I'm not sure what else down there, but sure is pretty down there. Just big gully full of trees and stuff. Yeah, that's where the there's the fish hatchery place, the fish farm, and then there's so it is like a gully down there. It goes down there into this big lake, and then here's that huge field that fertilized earlier. I finished doing that prior to this episode. That was a big field, 20 hectares, big field. I'm not sure we're going to get this cultivating done before the rain hits. Mostly, I just want to get it done before the ground gets too wet for the implement we're working with. Because I don't want to get my tractor stuck out in our field. That'd be embarrassing. This is like the one, right there. The field's shaped nicely. It's the one place you got to turn around. It's the one place where there's room to turn around on the field. Now that's how I designed it. We'll see how it works in practice when we come out here with a harvester and such. I don't know. For now, I'm going to try to get this done within the hour, which I don't think is going to be a problem. I didn't realize that our farm basically goes all the way over to that fish farm down there, because that was quite the long drive. But if I saw on the map right, that's kind of the next thing over there is the fish farm and the lake. We'll have to... There's still a lot of exploring I've not done of this area. As we saw last episode when I was in completely new territory on those back roads down south of the highway where we were doing that one fertilizing contract. And I got the trailer stuck basically in a tunnel under the railroad crossing that was that's getting pretty tight there. Well, I mean, at some point, if you have a circular field, at some point it's too tight for your tractor. That's the point we gotta switch to rows. But irregular shaped fields are fun. I think they're fun. I usually have irregular shaped fields. The other fields ahead of me, in front of us, up over there, they're long and rectangular, but for no real good reason other than I just made them just by going back and forth. No real good reason. I usually like irregular shaped fields because something more to do. Yeah, it's something more to do than just back and forth. Yeah, that is too tight to do again. That's okay. No, that finished up pretty quick. Yeah, we're going to get this done in plenty of time. Definitely went pretty quick. Next step here is planting. And we got plenty of time to figure that out. For now, let's get this. I'm gonna get this cultivator put away, and I'd like to check on that sorghum field, and I also want to check our tires on our small tractor and see if they count as medium. If they count as narrow tires or not. So I know what to figure for when I start setting up equipment to fertilize that field. That'll be, of course, this month. Do the second fertilizing on it. Well, let's get this put away. It's going to rain here soon. I'll take this tractor out there and check on that field. Oh, look at that. Our corn's growing in. How about that? Yeah, I wanted to check on the fields. Here's our wheat. It's looking more weedy and less grassy. But our corn looks great. In just a few months, these things will be taller than us. It's amazing how fast corn grows. I mean, if you think about it, you know, you plant it in the spring, and by October, you know, end of October, it is like over your head. Pretty crazy, huh? I mean, it's one of those things if you stop and think about it. I mean, it's like, well, duh, that's when they harvest it. I know, but it's one of those things when you stop and think about it, you know, you think you could almost see it growing. It grows so fast. I grew up surrounded by corn, but I can't say I ever really stopped to think about that. Oh, wow. That is one heck of a field. Look at that sorghum. Wow. That's beautiful. That is gorgeous growing in. Our wheat looks all like sickly and stuff. Well, it's just the color of the crop. You know, the wheat looks all like, kind of looks that sickly green color. But that sorghum up here, it looks super, super bright green. So let's see here. Let's just test with... See, I'm not sure... See, the thing is this. I said this in a previous episode. This is a two-wheel drive tractor, obviously. So you can't change these front wheels. These front wheels are what they are, as with any two-wheel drive tractor, right? In Farming Simulator 22, any two-wheel drive tractor, the front wheels are what they are. And they never specify narrow or not. I mean, they're narrow, right? But the only way to know for sure is we'll dip one of the front wheels. Now, the rear wheels, we can check at the shop. But here, we're just going to have to pull that out there. Yeah. Okay, so we'll take the front wheels. It's just one of those things you had to check. I have seen vehicles in Farming Simulator 22. I have seen vehicles that, there's a distinction, between some narrow wheels say narrow and count as narrow, and sometimes they don't. Just want to make triple sure those are not going to track that field up. No. So let's check the rear ones. And, wait a second. Am I sure, or is that... I think I was just seeing things. It looked like there was a... No, if it trampled it, there'd be dead... there'd be dead crops. I know these rear tires will trample because I've trampled my own wheat field enough to know that. It looks like there's an empty spot there, but it's just my brain seeing that. If there was a trampled area, there'd be little broken stalks. All right, so I'm going to take this to the shop, see if I can fit narrow wheels on this, because that's going to be like one step towards figuring out what we can use to fertilize this field this month. So I'm going to take us down. The nearest shop is down at the Collective Farm. They have a shop there, so I'll meet you guys down there. Oh, something I just thought of, actually, to illustrate really, actually, quite well what I'm talking about. I thought of an example right off the top of my head. If we go... right here, this big rustle mesh. These count as narrow wheels, and those are wider than some tractors' standard tires. But I can confirm that, I pulled this particular tractor up because I can confirm those count as narrow wheels, and it looks like a monster rolling through a field, but that won't trample crops. No. Yeah, that's one of those things where, that's confirmed. That's confirmed narrow. These wheels here, not. So, one of the little technicalities. So I'm going to go to the shop and see if we can do that. Fit narrow ones on this tractor here. All right, here we are at the shop at the tractor park. Oh, did the rain start falling? Yeah, it did. I just pulled in here. I just pulled in the mechanic bay, and I'm like, whoa, because I can hear all the rain hitting the roof. I'm like, did I seriously pull in just in time? Yeah, I suppose so. All right, well, no big deal. I mean, we got to drive back home through it. I was just remarking. So let's see here. All right, so is there an option? There should be a lot of wheel. I don't know. Let's see all the options we've got. No, there's no narrow options. There's no options marked as narrow for this tractor. So, all right, I wanted to cross that off the list. So, I mean, every farm needs a narrow-wheeled tractor anyway. We're going to have to find... We're going to need one anyway. It's not just for this one fertilizing job. We're going to need some kind of option for that anyway. So it's good to know ahead of time that... Darn it. There's a nice tractor over here. Actually, they have one here at the... Well, let's go ahead and... I'll catch it on the way out. They've got a cool tractor here that I really like. It does have narrow wheels. I know it because I was eyeballing the tractor. I like it. And we drove it once when I had to go pick up our water trailer. I borrowed their... they have a little orange AGCO tractor. And it does have narrow wheels. Oops, let me close this door real quick. Ah, darn door. There we go. This little guy up here. We're going to need a tractor with narrow wheels anyway. Now, I do like this tractor. But, well, it's not ours. It's not the cheapest either. I'll look at other options and we'll see. There's other things I want to look at. For now, I'm going to get back to the farm, and, well, once this rain clears up and the ground dries out, I can get our corn planted in our field. There's a couple things I've been looking at. I mentioned something last episode. Well, we'll see what goes on, but there is a different car I've been looking at trading in our pickup truck for a better truck. Now that we've got some money, that's a possibility. It's not like a big purchase or anything. It's just something I've been kind of eyeing at the dealership, and we'll see about that, trading our truck in for something more useful. For now, though, I'm going to get back to the house and just kind of see what goes on during the rain. After the rain, I'll get the corn planted. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in here in Baldeykino, farming in Siberia and Farming Simulator 22. It's been real fun. I'll catch up with you guys next episode. And... yeah, I'll have something sorted out. Whatever we're doing with that contract and however we're going to get it done, I'll have that sorted out next episode, as this time I chose to take a really weird way home for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. Oh, great. Oh, I got the tractor all muddy. Anyway, I'm going to get home. I'll see you guys there. Catch you next time.